going to turn off the chat and get started for today. Okay, everyone. We're talking about 3 keys to great follow-up with leads. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Dale Archdekin, the founder of Smart Sales Coaching. I earned every one of these gray hairs by coaching a salesperson. That's what I like to say. I've been doing it for a long time. By the end of today's webinars, you're going to know 3 keys to great lead follow-up, why you struggle right now with following up with your leads, what it takes to convert more of your leads into appointments and into closings, why you're better at selling in person than on the phone, which is what some of you may think. I know it can be really frustrating getting stuck at, are you ready yet? Just being stuck behind that, not having anything else you can say to people, nothing else to talk about with them, and then you just keep calling them over and over again. I don't know how many of you are solo agents versus how many are on teams, but I know that, for teams, some teams will push you to call people every week, every other week, every month, every couple of months. And if you don't have anything to say other than, are you ready yet? It becomes very unpleasant very quickly. I know how frustrating it can be just not knowing what to say to them, what to talk about with them, and not feeling like you really know the lead or have any connection to them. That's difficult. And not knowing how often or how aggressively to follow up with people, because we don't want to upset people, but our job is to sell houses and to book appointments. The reason that I know these things is because I've been a licensed real estate agent since 2008. I've personally averaged 5 to 7 listings per month from cold outbound prospecting when I was in production, and I did that for years. My partners and I teamed up and produced over 650 transactions per year and over 4 million in GCI per year for multiple years in a row. And my most successful agents sell generally 60 plus homes per year, and most successful teams sell over 3,000 units per year. And real estate has allowed me to be the first person in my family to generate a multi-million-dollar net worth. So there's a soft spot in my heart for real estate because this is how I've built my life. I've personally made thousands of sales calls in multiple industries. I've personally conducted and reviewed hundreds of buyer and seller appointments. And I've personally trained and coached teams like Chucktown Homes, if you know who they are. As of 2025, they were the number 3 enterprise team in the United States. Their 2025 production ranking was 1,891 sales for over 665 million in volume. I've worked with Premier Group, the number 9 enterprise team in 2025, over 1,353 units and $515 million in volume, and the Franklin team, number 18 enterprise team in the US for 2025, just over 1,000 units sold for 348 million. So the reason that I keep saying personally when I'm telling you what I've done and where I've been is because a lot of sales gurus have never actually sold real estate or sold more than 1 or 2 houses a month. A lot of sales gurus actually have never actually used their scripts or script ideas to win business and make money. They haven't actually done it. They're telling you to do it, but they haven't done it. And a lot of sales gurus have never successfully run profitable real estate teams using their methods or risked their own money buying and converting actual real estate leads. And I've done all of these things. This is one of the teams I just recently started working with, the Young Group, with Leopold McMasters. And in the first 30 days of me working with their agents, we increased their total calls made by 160%. And it's because they were more confident. They knew what to say. They had a plan. And they realized how easy and simple conversations can be with leads. So that's more than a 2.5 times increase in just the output that the agents were doing on their sales, taking sales action, which is huge because everything comes from taking action. And the agents increased their weekly new appointments with buyers and sellers by 125%. That's more than double. So they went on in the first 30 days, more than double the number of appointments every single week with new buyers and sellers. This is the difference that good training and a good approach can make. So we're going to talk about 3 keys to great lead follow-up. And I'm just going to give you the 3 keys right now. 1, bond the lead to you. Get them to bond to you, get them to build rapport with you as you are building rapport with them. 2, understand them like they understand themselves. This goes way beyond the sale. And 3, make the follow-up valuable to them. Make it, most of the time, the reason that these leads aren't answering you or talking to you is because you haven't bonded with them and you aren't making the follow-up valuable to them. There's nothing in it for them. So you may be thinking, I can't do that because they won't answer the phone or text or email, or they won't talk to me, or they hang up on me, or they ghost me. They bought or sold without telling me. Yes, I understand all this is very frustrating. But almost no agents that I talk to or that I initially start working with ever say these things. They never say, well, I don't have a good follow-up or can't convert these leads because I don't know how to engage and convert raw leads to sales conversations consistently. They usually don't say it's because I don't have a structured sales conversation process that follows proven best practices. And they don't say I've never invested time and money to perfect my selling skills. These 3 here on this page, or on this slide, are the things that most agents don't say. They blame everything else. The market, the leads, the weather, the interest rates, the inventory, the people, the whatever they want to blame. But they don't usually, come down to these 3 key things that actually make a massive difference in their results for them. If they controlled these 3 things here, it would be the opposite result that they would get. It would be a night and day difference. And they also don't say, I just wing it based on my mood and motivation. They almost never say that. So, why you struggle with lead follow-up? Hold on a second. Let's have some afternoon tea. Why you struggle with lead follow-up? You don't know what questions to ask people when you first start talking to them or when you're trying to convert them. And since you don't know that, you don't know those things because you're usually stuck on the sale, usually stuck on trying to make a sale. And what that causes is that you end up not knowing enough about your leads, which means that you don't know how to strategically use your discovery questions and your rapport questions, which are, so discovery questions are sale related, rapport questions are personally related. You don't know how to use them strategically to engage the lead, to move the conversation forward, to build a relationship with them or get them to bond to you. And then what happens is you don't have anything, you don't have that ammunition that you need to then follow up with them later on for subsequent conversations or to get them to answer your texts and emails, which means the lead is not bonded to you and you don't follow up enough, or you follow up too often with no value. So what this causes is that leads then don't answer your follow-up outreach in the future, or they rush you off the phone when you do get them, or shut down the conversation thread quickly, whether it's spoken or over text or email, which means that there's no connection there. So you don't have a connection to them, they don't have a connection to you. You get frustrated and annoyed. You feel like talking to leads is a waste of time, so you give up on having more conversations, and then you don't hit your sales goals. That's how it works. So I have the chat disabled, but I'm going to turn it on. If this is you, chat in me. If this describes your experience, chat in me. Yep. We've all been there. I've been there too. So I'm going to turn this off. Do you want to know a strange fact about real estate and real estate sales? When researchers polled real estate agents about their approach to selling, they asked them, do you have a customer-oriented process or a sales-oriented process? And what they mean by this is customer-oriented would be like a consultant. Do you consider yourself to be a consultative seller? Or a sales-oriented process, which means, do you consider yourself to be more of a traditional salesperson who sort of drives a sales process to an outcome, which is a result, a purchase, a sale. And 90% or over 90% of agents said that they follow a customer-oriented sales approach, meaning that they are consultative and not pushy when it comes to conducting sales conversations or their sales process. They went and asked they asked the clients of those agents, the buyers and sellers that they worked with, they asked their opinion about their agent's sales approach, the same question. 48%, almost half of the buyers and sellers that those agents worked with reported feeling that their agent was sales oriented, meaning pushy instead of consultative, right? So over half of the people that those agents worked with. And so what this comes down to is that almost every agent thinks they have a friendly, approachable way of conducting a sales conversation. But in reality, half the people that you talk to think that you're the typical pushy and self-centered salesperson who doesn't actually care about them. Now, I know that's not true. I know from the last 10 years of sales training and teaching people just like you, sales training and management, that almost all of you listening to this right now really care about helping people. You really care about their needs. You really care about doing the best job for them, and you care about the result that they get. You care about helping, you care about helping them. They think you're just another salesperson. So I want to show you how to bridge the gap. What it takes to convert more of your leads. Let's talk about blind spots first. So let's just say that this circle here represents all sales knowledge and strategy, right? Sales knowledge and strategy for real estate. So this little slice here represents what you know that you know. You know how to present your listing contract. You know how to talk a buyer through an offer, a purchase offer. You know how to operate a lockbox. You know how to get your photos for the property. You know how to get a property into the MLS. You know how to send somebody listings to look at, right? Those are the things that you know that you know. Then this little gray slice here is the things that you know that you don't know. So let's say you don't know how to get more cold leads to answer you. You don't know how to deal with the objection, I already have an agent, right? You don't have a good process for that. Those are things that you know that you don't know. You can see how much of this big circle is left. What's left in this big circle is where all of your appointments are. This is where the rest of your earnings and your money is. This big circle, what's left, is a blind spot for you. It's what you don't know that you don't know. Like you don't even know that you don't know these things. And this is where the big money is. This is where the rest of the sales that you could be making are. This is where the rest of those leads that could be converted, it all hides in there. And I'm going to show you some examples of what I mean by that. I want to show you some examples of how salespeople lose deals and commission based on what's in their blind spot. So we're talking about rapport, or I'm sorry, we're talking about follow-up, right? The whole point of this is, Dale, how can I follow up with leads better? How can I get them to answer me? How can I get them to respond? How can I get them to move forward? It starts with the initial conversations that you have with them. And I want to show you some of these other salespeople's blind spots. I'm going to play some calls for you. And I want to tell you this. You're going to listen to these calls and you're going to think, I do a better job than that. Or I do better than they do. And I'm going to tell you that you don't. If I listen to your calls, I'm going to hear very similar things in here. These are the things that you don't know about yourself. When I played these calls with those salespeople, they had no idea about the things that you're about to hear and what they did and how it was impacting their ability to build relationship or secure business or create nurtures for themselves. I guarantee you do the same thing. So don't judge them ahead of time. All right, let me play this over here. So this first one, Marcus didn't know why he was struggling to create good future and buyer and seller leads. So let's see what he learned about this lead. We're going to listen to his conversation with her. And with this one, I think I'm going to jump to 21 seconds in because it was a pre-recording.
Hello?
Hey, Sandra.
Yes.
Hey, this is Marcus here with KelownaHomes.com. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I just wanted to quickly connect with you. I know you've been on the site for a while now. I just wanted to make sure you're finding everything you're looking for okay.
Yeah, we're okay. We're
Okay.
not going anywhere anytime soon, so we're okay for the moment.
Okay, that's totally fair. Did you want me to adjust the properties I'm sending you at all? To, maybe narrow it down a little bit?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Were you thinking about making a move at some point over to the Okanagan, or?
Probably not in the near, not anytime soon, no.
Oh,
Things
okay.
have changed a little bit for us, so.
Oh, that's totally fair. Okay, just sort of future planning a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, no worries at all. If you ever have any questions or you do want that search narrowed down at all, feel free to reach out to me whenever.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very, very welcome. Maybe I'll check in with you in sort of 6 months to a year from now. Does that sound good?
Sure, that sounds great.
Okay, Sandra. It was nice talking to you, and yeah, we'll talk to you some point down the road here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You take good care.
Yeah, you as well. We'll talk later.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, so what did this guy, what did he learn about her? He learned absolutely nothing about this person. This lead learned nothing about him as a salesperson or who he worked for or what he could do for her. And as a result, she's not a nurturing deal for him. This was almost a wasted conversation. But what I hear is that Marcus tried to ask some questions, but he didn't actually know how to build rapport with this person. He didn't know how to effectively use discovery and rapport questions to actually build a bond and create a relationship. So I want you to write this down as you're listening to me. I want you to write down sale, ? And relationship, ? In every conversation that you have, you're finding out, is this a sale? Is there a sale here? If there's not a sale here, which is what she said, or not an immediate sale, then you need to immediately switch to relationship. And you can hear by this, we learned absolutely nothing about this person. If Marcus were to go and follow up with her a week later, she would not remember this conversation. A month later, 2 months later, 6 months later, whatever it is, this conversation was a waste, and he also will have zero information to follow up with. He has zero knowledge about her and nothing good to follow up with except asking, are you ready yet? That's where are you ready yet comes from. Let's listen to this next one. Dane also didn't know why he was struggling to create good future buyer and seller leads. Let's see what he learned about this lead. Let's listen to the call. And if you want to play along, write down the things that he learned about this lead.
Hello, this is Solomon. Hey there, Solomon. This is Dane Whalen with the Forney Group. How are you doing?
You said who is this?
This is Dane Whalen with Keller Williams and the Forney Group.
Oh, hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing well.
Speed it
Appreciate you
up.
asking. Reason for my call is I noticed you had been recently searching for homes in Noblesville and the surrounding areas, so I didn't know if you were interested in making a purchase.
I am, but just right now I run a small business and we're heading into slow season coming up in winter.
Yeah. I hear you.
So right now I'm just looking at a couple of home prices, but I probably won't be actually trying to lock down anything until probably like the summer of next year or something.
Okay, absolutely. Well, with that being said, I would love to see if we could make something work here and see if I could be of any benefit to you. Do you mind if I keep your contact info and kind of just keep you updated on the market in that area?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll kind of follow up with you as we get closer to that and see. And if you see anything like in the market reports that I send you that is of interest or you'd like me to kind of take a look, just give me a shout. I have no problem doing that for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. You have a great day, sir.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So what did the real estate agent learn about this particular lead, this guy, his situation, where he is, who he is, what he's doing, why he's doing it, where he's been before, how he's making decisions, who he's making decisions with? None of it. This agent learned absolutely nothing about this lead. This lead learned absolutely nothing about the agent or what he could do for him or who he was or why this lead should even talk to this agent over any other agent in the market. And so as a result, he's not a nurturing deal for this agent. Let's look at this next one, Alvin. Now, Alvin was a student of mine. Alvin was somebody that I was training in our methodology. And Alan one day was complaining that he doesn't have any real leads. He was saying, I call them, but nobody's buying. That's literally what he was complaining about and wanted me to tell him how to fix that. And so I said, well, Alvin, I'm calling him Alan. Alvin, I said, well, Alvin, let's hear what you're saying to these people. Let's hear what you're asking them. Let's hear how you are building rapport with them, how you're doing discovery, how you're setting yourself up for follow-up, how you're creating nurtures. So let's see just how bad Alvin's leads were. And I plucked this call. I had Alvin send me 5 calls. This was an example of a pattern that he was doing across all 5 of those calls. So I'm going to let you listen to how this goes.
You were on my website looking at properties, and I'm wondering, are you looking to move in the next few months or just checking the market?
Oh, I was just checking the market. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Nothing wrong with looking around. Was there any specific type of home you're interested in?
No, just looking around. Yeah, just to see. But yeah, I can reach back out if it gets more serious. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Just enjoy the use of the website.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
So what did Alvin learn about her? Almost nothing. He asked 2 questions. Are you buying a house? She said no. Is there any kind of specific house you would buy? She said no, and he gave up. That was it. Those were the 2 questions that he asked. So as a result, he learned absolutely nothing about the lead. The lead learned nothing about him. She's not a nurturing deal for him. In all 3 of these examples, there's nothing to say when you follow up with them. There's no meat, there's no story, there's no rapport, there's no bond, there's no nothing. These are the things that you guys are doing. This is why you struggle with your follow-up. This is why you struggle getting people to talk to you again, having something to talk about with them, getting them to remember who you are and answer you later. Here's the hard truth. Your conversational sales skills are likely half as good as you think they are. If you think that you're good, you could definitely be better. And if you think you're bad, you're probably worse than you actually know. That's the reality of this. It comes down to that. Up to 92% of real estate agents rate themselves as great or highly confident in their sales conversations and professional communication abilities. Do you want a dose of reality? Here's a reality check. 60% of full-time real estate agents sell less than 12 houses a year. How many of you listening to this right now need to sell 12 houses or more in order to hit your financial goals? I have the chat turned off, but that's just a rhetorical question for you. Do you need to sell more than 12 houses in order to hit your goals? Because you've got a 60% chance that you're not going to sell 12 or more houses. And you want to know something else that's crazy? 87% of full-time real estate agents, not people with a license who don't sell, not part-timers, 87% of full-time real estate agents sell less than 24 homes a year. That's less than 2 deals a month. How many of you, your financial goals require you to sell 2 or more houses a month? Well, most agents don't. However, 92% of you think that you have great communication skills. If confidence equaled conversion, no agent would be struggling right now. You'd all be selling as many or more homes than you need to sell to hit your goals. So just because you're confident at having sales conversations, just because you think you're a good consultative seller, doesn't mean that you are. And I played you 3 calls from 3 intelligent, active, engaged salespeople who are making a good attempt at growing their businesses. And they had no idea that they were doing things like that, like having such poor questioning skills to where they couldn't even build a rapport or bond with somebody. Those 3 calls that you heard, they would have gone just fine if all 3 of those people were highly motivated to do something now or in the very near future. But those people were not highly motivated for now or the very near future. And so those conversations failed. They failed to create nurtures. They failed to create a bond. That's what's happening for you too. You might be thinking, it's not me. I just need better leads. Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's talk about how your sales conversation skill impacts your lead quality. So let's just look at Google PPC leads, right? Those are the ones that come from the internet where you pay for keywords on Google. And I'm going to tell you this, I'd say probably 70 to 75% of all leads that you buy, that you get, who are not a close personal referral to you, come from Google PPC in one form or another. Even the lead providers who sell you the leads are primarily running the ads on Google or on Google platforms. So let's just use that as the baseline standard. So we're going to take a sample of 200 leads, and I'm making an assumption of $10,000 as an average commission. Yours will be, yours may be higher, yours may be lower. I'm just going to use 10,000 as an average commission. So here's an example of poor skill and process. And typically with PPC leads in the US, it's going to be less than 1% conversion if you don't have good skills or you don't have a good process. Now, if you don't call your leads at all, guess how many convert? 0 if you don't work your leads. But let's say that you're giving it a shot, you're calling some people, you're sending messages, you're using some AI in the system, you're trying to work these people. So a poor conversion rate would be 0.5%, and 0.5% would represent 1 sale out of this batch of 200. So 1 sale at your average commission is $10,000. Yay, right? We got 10,000 bucks. Now, let's look at what happens when you have good skill and process. You can get your conversion rate up to 2 or 3%, which just by getting the numbers up by that much, or that little, honestly, you go from 1 sale to 4 sales. Now, on the same batch of 200 leads, you're earning $40,000 in GCI, 4 times the amount. Same leads, same source. If you just improve what you say and how you say it, the things that you message them, how you follow up, how you engage them initially, you can get a 4x return on just that skill set change. Now, I've seen it here in the US get to 4 to 5% conversion. Same leads, same source, same market, just saying different things to these people, following a process, having good dialed in skills, good approach. If you get to 5% conversion on the same batch of 200 leads, now we're talking 10 sales. That's $100,000 in GCI. But I want you to see how much money is being left on the table between the poor skill set and the excellent skill set on the same leads. You're leaving $90,000 on the table. That is a massive opportunity cost. Just by increasing or improving your skill and your process is a 10x increase from in income, literally from the same leads. It's just night and day difference. Now, one of the best teams or current teams that I'm working with is the Johnson team, and they're at an 8% conversion, which means on the same set of 200 leads, they're closing 16 of them. That's 160,000 in GCI. So look at the jump between 10,000 in GCI to $160,000 in GCI. This is where you're losing your sales. This is the massive hole in your lead conversion bucket. This is the hole in your wallet or your purse that is leaking money right now. So it's not just about the leads. It's not about the quality of the leads. It really comes down to how are you cultivating and processing this same lead source that everybody else has, that every real estate agent in the US and Canada is working. And everybody's getting results. Their results range from the honestly 0 or 1 up to 16 of these things out of 200. All right, so maybe you're thinking, you know what, Dale, I'm much better in person than I am over the phone. If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that. Here's why you think you're better in person than you are over the phone. It's because you're making it up on the spot every single time because you don't have a process to follow. You're making it up because you don't have a clear sales process to follow for your conversations. So you make it up on the fly for each individual person that you meet with or talk to because you like to get in front of them and try to figure out what you should say to this person that's going to get them to talk to you or engage with you. So the problem with that is it is exhausting and it's confusing because you never know what actually works. You just keep making stuff up all the time. And when you make stuff up all the time, it especially doesn't work for leads that you are calling, right? Stranger business that you call or text or email. Making it up doesn't work that way. That's why you're getting poor results. That's why you're getting spotty returns. That's why you give up on these things. That's why you don't want to do it. That's what makes it really hard, is if you have to make it up all the time. Top producers don't wing it. They follow specific and proven sales conversational processes. Have you ever heard of high ticket closers? I don't know if you know what a high ticket closer is. A high ticket closer would be, like info products, coaching, sales, selling you like a course, things like that. Those are high ticket sales. And high ticket closers, they one sale for them represents 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. In some companies that sell really high ticket stuff, it could be like $30,000 sale. They do not wing it. They follow a very specific process for every single conversation. They don't customize it. The reason that they do that is because they follow what works and they use what works because they have so much money on the line. So tell me this, I don't know what your average commission is. If your average commission is $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, 30,000 or more, do you think you should be winging your conversations too? Or do you think you should have a good, solid process to follow? Do you think you should have a good, solid series of questions that you ask everybody? Do you think you should have a proven way of building rapport and bonding with the leads that you talk to so you can have a great follow-up later on? And speaking of which, do you think you should have a good structured follow-up that ensures that people answer you and moves the sale forward? I think the answer is yes. Converting leads over the phone, text, and email is hard. You might be thinking this, right? You might be saying, Dale, all that sounds great, but this is just really too hard to do. I want to ask you this. How hard is it to hit a golf ball straight? I was just at Topgolf over the weekend with my family. I hit a lot of those things straight. It's not easy. How hard is it to hit a golf ball straight? If I have any golfers listening. Well, it's hard if you don't know how to do it. It's easy if you know how to do it and you've practiced at it. How hard is it to deliver a great speech? I speak in front of thousands of people. And I've been doing it for a long time. Well, delivering a great speech terrifies some people. But, it's only hard if you don't know how to do it. If you know how to do it and you've practiced it, it's not that hard. It's still a little scary, but it's not that hard. You can get it done. How hard is it to parallel park a car in only 2 moves? Well, it's hard if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know the techniques, if you don't know the strategy. It's easy if you know how to do it and you've practiced it. I used to live in South Philadelphia. I mean, right now I could tell you could park 2 cars in that space on this picture, but I used to live in the city, used to have to do it all the time. You had to practice it all the time on tiny little streets that you could barely fit 1 car down. It's easy to do if you know how to do it and you've practiced at it. So the reality is you can have great conversations with any kind of lead. You just need to know how, and then you need to practice it. And honestly, the leads that you are talking to are no different from the warm referrals that you have. They're no different from your family members, your friends. They're no different from your past clients. I mean, how many of you know family members or friends who are on Zillow right now or on some other real estate agent's website right now looking at properties, and you hear them talking about this stuff? They're out there. The people that come from the internet are the people that you know. They are the people that are your friends and family and neighbors and past clients. It's just that they don't know you yet. So you can have great conversations with these people. It's just that the relationship is starting differently because, to their credit, they're guarded. They should be. You're a complete strange salesperson. They don't know you. They don't know us. They don't know what our intentions are. They don't know us from anyone else. And so they should be guarded. They should be standoffish. They should say, not yet. I'll call you. I'll let you know when I'm ready. That's perfectly fine. You just have to not let your feelings get hurt over that kind of stuff. You need to have a good process to follow that you use every single time that you're talking to somebody who doesn't know, like, and trust you yet. And once you get that down, once you get that pattern and that cycle down, then you can have great conversations. You can do way better than the recordings that I played for you. You can ask great questions. You can bond them to you. You can ensure that you have the highest chance that they will work with you, that they will answer you in the future, that they will reach out to you when they need something, or even just answer you with your next follow-up. So here are the sales skills that you need to be able to close more of your leads. You need messaging that actually gets people to respond to you, that doesn't sound like everybody else's boring sales messages. You need intros that actually keep the lead on the phone with you longer so they don't kick you off the phone when you do call them. You need discovery and rapport questions that keep them talking, that build rapport with them, and that advance the sale or the potential sale in the future. You need an objection process for when people say no, not yet, not with you, that actually keeps them engaged with you and gives you the best chance to change their minds, if it's possible. Can't always change everybody's mind, but you can either change their mind or you can speed up their timeline as long as it's in their best interest. You need a value proposition that makes the lead choose you instead of other agents. You need a process to book appointments early and get them to show up. What do I mean by early? What I mean is that you heard in the 3 examples of the people that we listened to, they were not ready to meet with an agent. They said they weren't doing anything. I don't want to wait until those 3 people get ready to go meet with an agent, get ready to start looking at houses on their own, because by that time I have a very high chance of losing them to a family member, to a friend, to somebody they meet, to a referral, to a lead source online that captures them. I don't want to wait for that. So what you need is a process that will help you book appointments with future buyers and sellers earlier than they think they're ready and actually get them to show up with you for that appointment. And a process that gets more contracts signed easier. A contract is an amazing thing to get signed. A process to present and defend your commission. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of people are trying to erode our earnings and our commissions because for some reason they think we don't work hard enough and that we don't earn it. So guess what, fellow salespeople? You need a good process to be able to present and defend what it is that you charge for your professional services, not just winging it or hoping they want to pay you. And you need to follow a process that provides new clients steadily for you so that you can be going on new appointments with buyers and sellers every single week. Now, looks like I hit the wrong button. Okay. Now, we have what we call our unscripted certification. So all the things that I just talked about, the skills that you need to be able to convert your leads, book more appointments, we've put it into what I call the unscripted certification. So where unscripted comes from is the fact that what you really need is, instead of scripts, reading just something to people that was already pre-written by somebody at a different time for a different situation, what you need is to know how to think in any given situation so that you can use proven strategies for conversation that will actually convert people into closings, into appointments. And so we have our unscripted certification. I've put it all together for you. It's a complete sales dialogue system to engage, overcome, and convert any lead source into new appointments. And generally adds between 12 to 24 additional sales per year for our students that use these techniques and strategies. Here's what's included. We go through the basics, which are crafting and refining your messaging, crafting and refining your intros, mastering productive discovery and rapport, which is what we were just listening to today. You heard very unproductive discovery and rapport. Mastering basic objections, when people say no, not yet, not with you, how to overcome those and stay in the conversation with them. Crafting and refining your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is you being able to answer the question, why should I buy a home with you? Or why should I list my home with you instead of another agent? That's an elevator pitch. Mastering simple closes for next steps or appointments with buyers and sellers so that you can actually get them to show up instead of ghosting you. Mastering pre-framing for agreements. If you can pre-frame for an agreement, you have the best shot of actually showing up, getting somebody to sign, and committing to you. If you just show up and you haven't pre-framed them at all, sometimes it can be very difficult to get them to sign. Then we test you out on your basic skills. Then we move on to the advanced skills. We go on to advanced objections, more difficult objections to overcome, more complicated processes for overcoming them. Advanced value propositions. So this is where we are actually figuring out what a buyer or seller wants from an agent and then selling it to them using a format. Advanced appointment closes. This is to get people to meet with you sooner than they think that they're ready to, and being able to position the ask for an appointment in a way that you can actually get it accepted. Whereas a lot of buyers and sellers who are out in the future, it's hard to get them to meet with you. So we're going to show you how to get more of these people to meet with you every single week so you can get more contracts signed. And then we test you out on those advanced skills. Now, this is the unscripted certification. This is the training course that I teach personally. And how does it work? It is weekly live training on Zoom with me. We do role play. I refine what you're doing. I teach you the strategies, we practice the strategies, and I help you actually execute it the right way. And then on top of it, I'll be reviewing some of your calls so you and I can actually hear what you're saying in these conversations. Because as you heard with the 3 calls that I played, these 3 guys had no idea how much what they did or said or didn't do on the call was affecting the fact that they couldn't convert or they couldn't create good nurtures. It's happening to you too. You and I need to listen to them so I can help you with it. So what results can I expect? Typically adding 1 to 2 additional closings per month, 12 to 24 on average. That's usually what our students are able to do using these techniques and strategies. And it starts happening in the very first week. Within the first 30 days, you're booking more appointments than you've ever gone on before, as long as you show up and do the training. How long does it take? 12 weeks, about 3 months. Yes, you can extend longer if you need to. How do I get in? Well, you submit a business application because this is not right for everybody. We can't take on everybody. We can't help everybody. This is very specific for agents who are currently full-time in production and have leads. So fill out a business application, and we only take on 4 new students per month. We are currently interviewing for August right now. So July is already full. We're interviewing for August and for September. How much does it cost, Dale? Well, it depends on how much you actually want to make in the next 12 months. So fill out the application, see if you qualify. When you fill out the application, if you're approved, I'll jump onto a Zoom, just me and you, and we'll talk about what your goals are, what your struggles are, what your unique lead mix is, how you're currently approaching converting them, and what your goals are for earnings, and then decide there whether or not it makes sense for you to join the program and work with me personally. So how do you apply? Scan this QR code or go to this URL right here, And what you'll see is the unscripted certification application and discovery call. And I can show you the page, the actual page that it's on. It looks like this. Let me just move this over to the side. Jeannie, can you drop that link in the chat for me? Let's see. Yep, Jeannie dropped the link into the chat for you guys, so you can click on that there. And here's the landing page. This is what you'll see when you go there. You're going to see my big fat head talking. And then you're going to see the description that I just showed you of what the training is about. Kind of talks you a little bit through the process. Here's your application. Shows you what some of our students have had to say about this training. And then some common questions. And if you need to know who I am or a little bit more of my bio, it's down there. So this is where you can submit your application. And I look forward to talking to you. All right, so I'm going to bring this QR code back up for those of you who still need it. Let me find it. Where did I drop it? There it is. Okay, cool. So go here, fill out the application, and look forward to talking to those of you who are ready to take the next step and grow your businesses. Thank you.